Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Calling the case of Artesia Bomer versus Wayne County Clerk et al., case number 240121996AW. Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Artesia Bomer, petitioner and plaintiff, and I'm representing myself pro se. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rebecca Camargo on behalf of the clerk.
All right. You may proceed.
Okay, Your Honor, we are here because I filed a writ of mandamus and injunctive relief and incorporated brief, Your Honor, to have T.P. Nakoriak, a candidate for Wayne County Sheriff, removed from the ballot. And there are a lot of circumstances that T.P. Nakoriak falls under to be disqualified from the ballot, Your Honor, early on. And Your Honor, I would like to know if you had a chance to read that motion, that writ of mandamus.
Yes. Did you want to make any other record?
Yes, I want to make a record that I have filed a motion to dismiss the defendant's response and answer and grant a motion for oral arguments because, Your Honor, I have dyslexia. I was diagnosed in my 30s with it, and to be able for you to understand me and what I'm asking for today calls for oral arguments, Your Honor.
All right, so we would have to set a date for oral argument and resolution of the merits of your case. And let me hear what the other side has to say, Ms. Camargo, about that, if you have any objection to it.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't have an objection, but the ballots have already gone out. Folks are already voting. There's no way to stop this train. You can't put it in reverse. So the relief that Ms. Bomer is requesting is frankly impossible. So I'm not sure what oral arguments would do to help her, but I don't have an objection to doing that.
Well, Your Honor?
Yes.
I would waive that oral argument if you would see that the law is on my side with this, Your Honor. And
Right,
I would like
so
to
if you want to just make your argument right now then instead, ma'am, I will allow that.
All right, I appreciate that,
Since she's
Your
not
Honor.
objecting.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Camargo, for that as well. Your Honor, I just would like for you to allow me to be able to articulate this as well as possible with dyslexia, and so that you are, this is not a circus in your courtroom, Your Honor. Clearly, I have filed numerous challenges to T.P. Nakoriak's affidavit, and numerous of time it was rejected. And far as the initials, when I filed the first challenge on April 29th, they sent me a form denying my challenge, stating that T.P. Nakoriak is allowed to use those initials. And I even put an exhibit on there, Exhibit B, to show you that they sent this letter to me rejecting my challenge. Okay, we let that slide. Although we know that the voters are disenfranchised, Your Honor, for T.P. Nakoriak going on the ballot as T.P. Nakoriak, because he previously ran for sheriff, Your Honor, as a Democrat, Your Honor, and he ran under his name, Terrace Petro Nakoriak. So now, fast forward, after he ran, he committed a crime, Your Honor, of embezzlement, Your Honor, from a church, Your Honor. It's a federal felony, Your Honor. And under the Chapter 1 under the Constitution of Michigan, MCL Article 11, namely Section 8, Your Honor. A person is ineligible for election or appointment to any state or local elective office of this state and ineligible to hold a position in public employment in this state that is policy making or that has a discretionary authority over public asset, which sheriffs do. And within the immediately preceding 20 years, the person was convicted of a felony involving dishonesty, deceit, fraud, or a breach of the public's trust. And Your Honor, I believe that Ms. Camargo went to the other half that showed that the requirement is in addition for an elective office, which he was not holding at the time. However, Your Honor, this is a church that received governmental funding. He cashed in governmental bonds at the tune of over $70,000, Your Honor. He lost the public's trust right there. He pleaded guilty, Your Honor. This wasn't a jury trial. This wasn't a bench trial. This man pleaded guilty so he can save his butt from 90 years in prison. And it's in his record, Your Honor, so I'm not making this up. And Your Honor, even if common law, or just say common sense, who in their right mind, clerk, attorney for the clerk, anyone who would allow a man who's already lost the public's trust to remain on a ballot, whether it was the result of initials, this federal conviction that is clearly not 20 years proceeding. He just got released from supervised release in 2020. And now here you have him running again in 2024. Your Honor, I am very well, first I want to say this is not a judicial attack against you, but Your Honor, our county clerk usurped her authority, and she wrongfully encroached and infringed on the duties of the clerk's office to not remove Narcoriac. Several challenges, well in the timeline. I filed one in April 29th. TP filed one.
I'm sorry. I just have a couple of things to mention. First of all, Ms. Boomer, you make a very compelling case that this person, if this was any kind of debate or talk about whether this person is someone who should be sheriff or qualified, you make a compelling factual case. But you heard Ms. Camargo make her statement, which wasn't about the merits or the qualifications of the person that you want removed from the ballot, but the fact that in fact, this only got to this court, and this is the first opportunity this court has to address it. And what she's saying is it's a moot point because the ballots have already been printed. It's already, people are already voting. There's opportunity for early voting. And so what is it that you're asking this court to do? Because I have very limited authority to, unring a bell. That's it comes to the court at a late date. And so not only did she concede that you could proceed with an oral argument of your facts, but she stated why that those are not, they can't be compelling in this court's action because of the circumstances here. And I'm going to let her respond and then go back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Even on the merits, she failed. Mr. Narcoriac he is allowed to use his initials on the ballot. He is allowed to change parties if he so chooses. He claims to be a Republican now. We have to take him at his face. Neither the clerk nor you can go beyond the four corners of the affidavit of identity in that respect. You can't go into his mind and decide that he's not a Republican. Third, his federal conviction does not preclude him from appearing on the ballot because he was not in office, and the Constitution clearly states that he had to have been an elected official. I had the Monica Conyers case 2 years ago.
I'm sorry, counsel. I'm sorry. I don't think that what she's saying is that she's pro se. She is indicating her feeling that qualifications because of the recent conviction and embezzlement from the church make her feel that this is not equitably right. And that's what I was commenting on. But I was expecting you to respond to the fact that all of that aside, what could a court do at this time?
I apologize, Your Honor. Your Honor, there is nothing the court can do. She's not on the ballot. Mr. Narcoriac is on the ballot.
Yes.
Folks have already begun voting. Every single ballot has gone out to the voters, to any absentee ballots and any early voters. So what Ms. Bomber is asking you to do is disenfranchise those voters who have already voted and returned their ballots. I already returned my ballot, for example. As Your Honor said, you can't unring the bell. It's far too late. even when she filed the lawsuit, it was far too late because the ballots were already on their way to being printed.
Okay, and so that's the heart of the argument, Ms. Bomber, because we don't need to address and on the law on qualifications, when you're looking at legally able to be on the ballot, Ms. Camargo is correct, but I can understand you make an emotional argument about, and I don't know if you are affiliated with the church, but that this is troubling, but it is not unprecedented that someone with an arguably problematic integrity should run for offices as a new candidate. But beyond that, that's not what the heart of the issue is, that this court has limited ability, and certainly not the ability to unring this bell, to take out all of the votes that have already been submitted, and to take this person off part of ballots. You know, it's just not feasible, nor does this court have the ability or authority to take the action that you're requesting.
Your Honor,
Yes.
this is not a judicial attack against you. Of course it's not, because Ms. Rebecca requested that my docket be removed to you, of judge that I have worked on campaigns for in the past. I was consulted and asked if you wanted to recuse yourself. And I said, absolutely not. Because if Miss Rebecca requested you, then guess what? I'm all for it. But Your Honor, Norton versus Shelby County, and I want to make this clear. Ex parte Young, 209 U.S. 123 in 1908. When a public functionary such as Kathy Garrett does not act de jure, she is stripped of her immunity and faces consequences. And also, Your Honor, Shure versus Rhodes, 416 U.S. 232, 1970. Complaining party, which is myself, is entitled to an answer by the opposing party, which is Ms. Camargo, before a motion to dismiss is possible. So we're at that point, Your Honor. And I am simply asking you that, no, this is not moot, I'm sorry, because per their words, the county clerk's office, there is no time limit on filing something and a challenge against an AOI. So I can file this challenge all the way up until November the 5th, 2024 if I had to. So the remedy, if you think that there's no remedy left, it is a remedy. A special election after Mr. Nikoriak's name is removed from that ballot, then therefore that would put me and Mr. Raphael Washington on the ballot together in a special election on another separate date. Because, Your Honor, I am not asking that my name be printed on the ballot along with the other one, because that's a fraudulent ballot, Your Honor. That ballot is moot. That ballot should be disqualified, the entire ballot, because it has names on there that should not have been on there from the beginning. This is not something new. This is something I challenged in April, May, June, July, and August, Your Honor. They failed me, Your Honor. So
Okay,
the question
thank you.
is,
Ms. Camargo?
It costs $470,000 to print ballots. What Ms. Bomber is asking you to do, first of all, she lost the election in August. She lost the primary.
Your Honor, the ballots were not counted, Your Honor.
She lost the primary. It costs $470,000.
Your Honor.
Okay, but Ms. Bomber, I'm going to let you say something, but you can't speak over each other. I didn't hear either of you because you were both talking at the same time.
Okay, well, I objected to her response in that Mr. Nikoriak won, simply for the fact that number one is still a fraudulent name on a ballot, and whatever votes that are cast for this fraudulent.
Okay, that's not what she was saying. She was saying that there was a primary, that there was a primary that he did win because he got more votes. So we don't
know that.
Okay, Ms. Camargo, please continue.
Your Honor, there's no mechanism for a special election here. Ms. Bomber did not win the primary. Mr. Nakoriak did. He's rightfully on the ballot. There's just no mechanism for it. If Ms. Bomber thinks that a special election is appropriate, she's asking the county to swallow $470,000 more to print new ballots, and to hold a special election is even more costly because it runs the entire county. I can't even begin to fathom how much it would cost the county to hold a special election when Ms. Bomber is, I don't mean to be rude, is a sore loser, and that's what's going on here.
Your Honor, that's not true. I'm a very happy loser if I lost, which I don't feel that I did. And Your Honor, please, if you don't mind, Your Honor, Mr. Nakoriak, it's not just about the felony. It's about, I put in a timely challenge for Mr. Nakoriak because number one, Your Honor, his address that he has on his affidavit identity, he was evicted from that address a full year ago, August 23rd, 2023. It's in the 36th District Court Register of Actions. So, Your Honor, from the beginning, I've told this and shared this to the county clerk's office that Mr. Nakoriak's affidavit.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bomber. Although there wasn't an objection to oral argument, the problem is that any action to examine all of these different issues against that candidate, Noriak, that you're mentioning, including the residency, would have had to been litigated in order to have him off of that original ballot. And this was not brought to this court. At this time, this court was not and so at this point, with this motion that's made, the court has to take note of the correctness of every one of Ms. Camargo's legal arguments and note that at this juncture, this court has no legal basis to grant your motion and must deny. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I know that you ruled, but I want to just say something, even if it's a sidebar, and about what it really want like it for the record. Your Honor, Ms. Camargo stated that it would cost the county $470,000 to run a special election, which has happened in our past years. But also I want Ms. Camargo to look at, it's nothing sore about being a sore loser, but it is something sore and egregious about not being able to raise at least $1.2 million, which I could have raised if my name remained on that ballot. So Your Honor, this case is not just an open and shut and you ruled this ruling, which I'm going to go away still happy. But I am going to appeal it, of course. I'm going to appeal this, Your Honor. It's egregious. And I am clearly in the right of this. I clearly filed on time. And I think that me waiving the oral argument is okay because the time is of essence. Where is Mr. Nakoriak? Is he in Ukraine, Your Honor? Because he's nowhere to be found, Your Honor. This is a two-person race right now, a Democrat and a Republican. Where is Mr. Nakoriak? Do I need to petition this court for a subpoena to go and get Mr. Nakoriak? Because I do believe that he possibly is living in Ukraine and or holds a dual citizenship. So, Your Honor, this is really, really on dangerous grounds right now.
Thank you for the information. And can you reiterate for the record what the date is you first filed this?
Yes.
Prior to the primary?
Yes. And you say prior to the primary is because they kept rejecting it. They kept rejecting. So if you ruled wrongly and Ms. Garrett did not properly
I didn't rule because it wasn't brought before the court. Thank you so much. You've made your record. I appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.